Hello and welcome to Awaz News. I am Kubra Ali and I'll be taking you through big news across Canada. Sophie Trudeaus on human connection, mental health, and separation from Justin Trudeau. More than 115 cases of eye damage reported in Ontario after solar eclipse. King Charles III will resume public duties next week after cancer treatment, Palace says. Two suspects sought in distraction theft that targeted elderly women in Oshawa. Toronto resident lost more than $200,000 in alleged investment scam, one suspect charged. Partial subway closure on Line 2 could last a few days after fire, TTC says. Boy 11 struck by transport truck in Etobicoke suffers critical injuries. These were the headlines. Now let's jump right into the details. King Charles is back. The 75-year-old monarch will resume his public duties next week, following a 3-month break to focus on his treatment and recuperation after he was diagnosed with an undisclosed type of cancer, Buckingham Palace said Friday. Charles will mark the milestone by visiting a cancer treatment center on Tuesday, the first of several public appearances he'll make in the coming weeks, the palace said. One of his first major engagements will be to host a state visit by the Emperor and Empress of Japan in June. The palace didn't provide an update on King's treatment but said his medical team is very encouraged by the progress made so far and remain positive about the King's continued recovery. Charles continued his state duties, including reviewing government documents and meeting with Prime Minister Rishi Sunak after his diagnosis was disclosed on February 5th. As the first anniversary of the coronation approaches, their majesties remain deeply grateful for the many kindnesses and good wishes they have received from around the world throughout the joys and challenges of the past year, the palace said in a statement. Charles' return will relieve pressure on other members of the royal family after the king's absence, coupled with that of the Princess of Wales, also due to illness, highlighted the challenges faced by a slimmed-down monarchy. Sophie Trudeaus is sharing more about her life struggles and a split from Justin Trudeau as she releases a new book which explores themes of mental health and the universal need for human connection. Without human connection, we see that we can become sick, Trudeaus said in a sit-down interview to promote the book. In the book Closer Together, Knowing Ourselves, Loving Each Other, Trudeaus shares mental health insights she's gleaned from experts over the past 20 years and said they are especially pertinent now given various crises the world is facing. She said the world needs more emotional leadership in a world where people constantly feel on alert. And what is emotional leadership? Taking a breath when you don't want to, resolving the conflict, and calm when you really want to scream and shout, feeling your emotions rise and be able to regulate your nervous system. Trudeau also opened up about her split from the Prime Minister and said the two still love each other, though their relationship has changed. You know, sometimes when you truly love somebody, you set them free somewhere on the path out of respect and admiration in different ways, even if it's not convenient, she said. It's not my wish, but when things change, it's not the end. She said it's important that her children see that their parents can still get along even though they are no longer together. When we live in a society where success is marriage and divorce is failure, and there's nothing in between, we leave a dramatic emotional burden on children, she said. She said two people can separate and still love each other without that being a contradiction. The couple announced their separation last August and said they would share custody of their 3 children. In the book, Trudeaus deals with various challenges of her own, such as revealing years ago when she was a TV and radio host in Quebec that she had struggled with an eating disorder. A mental health advocate, Trudeaus, said that while there is less stigma around such issues today, the only way things change is by people opening up and sharing their stories. While people think of her as living in spotlight, she said that doesn't mean they know everything about her. A mom of 2 teens and a 10-year-old, Trudeaus said many people are not taught to sit with our pain without feeling overwhelmed, and that parents need to prepare the children for the fact that life is painful and that happiness is not a constant state of being. When you dance between the light and the darkness, between happiness and unhappiness, you kind of notice that we weren't meant to come onto this earth to be happy and pink and everything is fine. We came here to be conscious and responsible for our own individual growth so we can contribute to the world and people can actually feel a sense of purpose. Gregor Trudeau said those hoping to catch gossip in the book, which was written before her split from the Prime Minister, will be disappointed. Gregor Trudeau is appearing at a downtown Indigo store at the Well tonight to sign copies of her new book. More than 115 people who viewed the solar eclipse in Ontario early this month experienced eye damage after the event, according to eye doctors in the province. The Ontario Association of Optometrists OAO says it has received 118 cases of reported eye complications since April 8. Inflammation of the cornea, dry eyes, and solar retinopathy are among the conditions reported. A spokesperson said that while inflammation of the cornea typically heals over the course of a few days, solar retinopathy can cause permanent vision loss in extreme cases. The severity of cases depends on which part of the retina is affected and how long the patient stared at the sun, the OAO said. In the lead up to April 8, health and government officials had warned of the dangers of looking directly at the sun during the eclipse. Those who did take part were advised to wear certified eclipse viewing glasses to prevent eye damage. The OAO said the cases weren't concentrated in any one part of the province and ranged from Windsor to Ottawa. Geographically, most of the Ontario was not in so-called path of totality when the sun was completely blocked out by the moon's path. Cities that were in the path, including Hamilton and Niagara Falls, were largely impacted by cloud cover. That cloud cover, coupled with the fact so many people were using eclipse glasses, likely helped to limit the number of reports of eye complications, the OAO received, the organization said. In Quebec, where parts of the province experienced totality, for a few minutes, 28 cases of eye damage have been reported as of April 17. A 24-year-old man has been arrested after a Toronto resident lost over $200,000 in an alleged investment scam that impersonated a global investment company. Toronto police said the suspects allegedly placed advertisements with internet search engine providers to promote several fake investments. When the victims clicked on the ad, they were brought to fraudulent investment comparison sites where they were prompted to enter their name, telephone number, and email address. Once the information has been provided, suspects posing as representatives of Schroders Management Inc. will then call victims, investigators allege. Suspects then email fraudulent Schroders prospectuses and application form to victims. Police added that the fraudsters offered high investment returns with seemingly little or no risk. On Friday, police charged one suspect, Brampton resident Arvinder Singh, with fraud over $5,000, possession of proceeds obtained by crime over $5,000, and laundering proceeds of crime. It's unclear how many suspects were running the alleged scam and if any other suspects are being sought by police. Investigators believe there may be more victims and asked them to call 416-808-4300. The TTC says some subway riders might need to plan for travel disruptions over the next few days as transit agency works to repair damage caused by fire on a stretch of Line 2. Subway service has been shut down both ways between Kipling and Jane stations on Line 2 Bloor Danforth since a fire yesterday damaged critical equipment. TTS spokesperson Stuart Green told Awaz News Friday that it could take several days to get regular service back up and running. We are really looking at, it could be a few days before full service is up and running again, Green said. The fire took place in an outdoor area near Islington Station, though it's not clear how it started. It severely damaged a box that contained a number of cables and our safety critical things like signaling and communications, Green said. We don't know yet what started the fire. It's right along the fence line, so it may have been outside the TTC property. Shuttle buses are running to replace regular service at Kipling, Islington, Royal York, and Jane stations. Riders are also being encouraged to hop on the GO train at Kipling GO station as an alternative or to use the UP Express if they are heading downtown or to the airport. While it's soon to say exactly how the fire started or whether it's suspicious, Green said the TDC will be looking at all possibilities. Repair efforts are underway, and Green said the TDC is working to shrink the affected area online. In the meantime, he advised people to stay tuned to updates. It could be into next week. We could be talking Monday, Tuesday before full service is back. But again, that could change over the weekend, Green said. So the best advice is to check our website, check TDC notices on Twitter. 2 men are wanted in connection with distraction theft in Oshawa last year that saw an elderly woman's bank cards being stolen and used to withdraw money. Police said the incident occurred on September 26th in the area of Taunton Road East and Wilson Road North. A woman was returning to her vehicle from a grocery store when an unknown man approached her. Police said the man told the woman he was from out of the town and needed help with directions on his phone. During this time, the suspect discreetly removed bank cards from the victim's purse, police alleged in a news release on Friday. Cash was later withdrawn from the victim's account without her knowledge. During their investigation, police said they learned that a second male suspect was involved in the theft. They have released images of the two suspects and are asking for the public's help in identifying them. The first suspect is described as white male with a black mustache and a black goatee. He was last seen wearing a black baseball hat, black sunglasses, and a gray jacket and a black shirt. The other suspect is believed to be a white male with large build, a black mustache, and a black goatee. He was wearing a red New York Yankees baseball hat and black sunglasses. Police ask anyone with the information to contact investigators at 1-888-579-1520 extension 2732 or Durham Regional Crime Stoppers at 1-800-222-8477. An 11-year-old boy struck by a transport truck in Etobicoke on Friday morning suffered critical injuries and is receiving treatment at a Toronto Trauma Centre, police say. The collision occurred shortly before 9 a.m. in the area of Albin Road and Elmhurst Drive near Islington Avenue. The understanding we have at this point is the truck was northbound in the curb lane approaching Beatty Avenue. The individual, who is an 11-year-old child, entered the intersection and was struck by the trailer of the vehicle, Deputy Inspector Jeff Bangold told reporters at the scene on Friday. Police said the driver of the transport truck remained at the scene and the child was rushed to the hospital via emergency run in life-threatening condition. Bangold said police are waiting for an update on the child's condition. This is an investigation that it is its infancy, so there is a number of factors that need to be considered, he said. At this time, the concern that we have is the well-being of the child. He said police have obtained video footage of the crash and have spoken to a number of witnesses. The driver of the truck has not yet been interviewed, he added. A crash reconstruction team is on scene and the truck will be assessed for any possible mechanical defects, Bangle said. He called the crash extremely traumatizing for all those involved and said support services has been offered to both the family and the boy who was struck and the truck driver. In a letter to parents, the principal of the Elms Junior Middle School confirmed that the victim is a student and that the collision occurred near the school shortly before the start of the school day. Some witnesses provided the student with first aid until EMS arrived on the site to transport them to hospital. We understand a number of students witnessed this incident and social work staff were at school today to support students, the letter read. Our thoughts are with the student and their family during this difficult time, and we are hopeful for their full recovery. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Kubra Ali. I'll see you back tomorrow, same time, same channel. Have a good night.